Hello everybody. So this is another edition of me just walking around randomly during lunch hour, and I found this. This is a Cadillac Catera. Just saying that makes me hurt inside, because this car, I remember getting a lot of crap when it was first introduced. I believe it was the late 90s, early 2000s. I think actually the production ceased in the early 2000s. And this is what happens when badge engineering goes horribly wrong, because this car, I don't think it deserves a right to be called a Cadillac, because it was built on a platform that was shared at the time with Opel Omega, I believe, which is basically a very run-of-the-mill kind of a German European mid-size sedan the time, and I don't even think they were very popular in Germany or in Europe at the time. But somewhere, somehow, General Motors, in their ultimate wisdom, decided to bring this to the United States, and not just as a Chevy. Like, I get that, you take a run-of-the-mill product that maybe it's sold in Germany. I'm not sure. I'll do some more research, and I'll be posting that on the screen. But they took this, obviously not a very popular vehicle, by any stretch of the imagination, and they decided to bring it here to the United States as this kind of an entry-level Cadillac. But then I'm thinking, like, why Cadillac? Why couldn't they bring it in as a Chevy? If as a Chevy, I think this would make sense. The size, the looks, kind of like what you got from the overall package. But nope, they thought that this was good enough to bring in as a Cadillac, out of all things. Maybe even as a Buick it could possibly make sense. But yeah, and look, they were obviously kind of ashamed of this, because they decided to do the whole Cadillac instead of doing the whole shield and everything, the crest and the shield. But yet they decided to just spell it out. But then up front, they wanted to do the crest and the shield. But just by looking at this car from the front, this thing does not look like a Cadillac. This looks like crap, to be honest with you. And I don't mean that because it's it's a late 90s, early 2000 GM car. It's just I don't know. To me, Cadillacs were always kind of look nice and stately and imposing. And right in the same parking lot, there's a Buick LeSabre right there. Like, at least that looks stately. That looks like a Buick. Here, let's see if I can zoom it in. Yeah, like, that looks good, at least to me. This, and so they brought it over. They turned it into a Cadillac by switching out the grille. I'm not sure if they did anything with the wheels, although it looks like the wheels are missing the little crest and the shield or whatever they had at the time. But then the interior, by God, I will be like, obviously this car is at a parking lot, it's locked, but this being an early 2000 or late 90s car, look, they got the shifter from a Saab. They got these windows mirror control from probably like some other Opel thing. They got the steering wheel has no wood. The actual Cadillac symbol on the steering wheel, like I said, whatever I can't post, like whatever you guys can't see on the screen, I'll be compensating for it via pictures. They do have like a little crest and the shield on the steering wheel, but that does not look like your standard Cadillac steering wheel. They have these weird turn signals, probably from an Opel. The gauges, I think they actually modified gauges that made them look worse than they were in an Opel, because an Opel, I think, had like a digital readout. They do have the Cadillac GM's the radio and climate control that they stole from another GM product. And then the window switches are in the middle, which, once again, I think no Cadillac at the time were doing it, because, once again, they brought it over. The one thing that I think they did well, whatever you guys can see there, are the seats. I think the seats, they did take them from a Cadillac like the Deville / DTS at the time. But, man, I think the overall design and the way these things look, and obviously they're not holding up very well over time, but, I think they just went way too bad for this car. And obviously it failed. I think it failed within a few years. Look, no sunroof either. So that kind of proves that, yeah, they had good intentions, I guess, at the time, to bring in a compact Cadillac to their lineup. But I don't know, something just irks me about that. So yeah, so there you go. Look, I'm not a car journalist, obviously. I don't know a lot of stuff about the engine, so I will be posting it on the screen. But just the way these things look, I mean, if anybody looks at this car and says, yep, oh yeah, that looks like a Cadillac, they must be hallucinating. And whoever made the corporate decision to bring this in as a Cadillac, I think we're really smoking some bad stuff. But yeah, all right. You know, I'm kind of walking around. Ooh, you know what? Let me show you the car that I do think of when I think of a Cadillac. You can probably see it right there, and I'm walking towards it. You know, once again, I'm just at a random parking lot here. I think it's a hospital nearby. Let me get close to it. Let me quickly show you. Here we go. Now, obviously, this car has seen better days. I didn't even notice this thing from where I was filming it, but oh wow, like this thing was all over the place. But at least, when I think of Cadillac, this is what comes to mind. It's this nice and wide stance. You got the hood ornament, okay, I understand. It's probably from the earlier 90s. It's a, what is this, a Deville? Oh, okay, so this car is obviously, it's been here a while. And it's got some sort of a notice. But, wow, okay. So yeah, so obviously, so there's actually a notice of a potential, I think, of like a potential tow. But, you know, I'm not judging the, like the condition of the car. Keep in mind, you know, obviously if I had a car like this, I would keep it a lot better. But this is a legit bona fide Cadillac. See, look at this. Nice and proud badge. Nice stance. Nice long, here, let me move away from this thing. Nice, long, gracious. Once again, ignore the damage. The damage, you know, these did not leave the factory this way. You know, on the inside, yeah, it doesn't have wood for some reason, but I don't think these cars ever had wood. I mean, look at these back seats, whatever you get. Oh, well, you guys can't see it, so I'm going to have to compensate for it. But anyway, although this one, I've seen, you know, better days. But this is a Cadillac. And I think anybody shopping for a Cadillac, let's assume that they would, you know, that they were both new at the time. I mean, how many people would go for that Catera that I found over there versus this one? Honestly, just looking at this Cadillac in the condition that it is, I still like it more than that Catera, even though, you know, this thing is destroyed. Look, the paint is peeling. You got all sorts of weird stuff that's happening there. Still don't have a sunroof, but look at the seats. Oh, I didn't even notice the seats. The seats are all messed up. But still, to me, this is a legit Cadillac. And not that thing. So, all right. Once again, I was not planning to shoot a video today, but things just kind of present themselves, and I can't help it. So, wrong type of Cadillac, right type of Cadillac. Remember that. Thank you.